Hi, my name is Miyoho. I tried to record this several times and it's been so difficult. I literally have no idea how am I going to film this video because this is the first time that I'm recording a video. I'm shy, uncomfortable, I'm trying to speak English correctly because if I don't, you laugh at me. It's a lot of pressure. I'm about to tell you something stupid and embarrassing and that's going to be hard to believe, but I'm telling it anyway because I thought that maybe if I open up about my worst fear to the internet, that will make me feel better. Sounds like a great plan to me, so here we go. So, I'm a grown-up human. At least I do what all the grown-up humans do. I go to work, pay rent, shop at the grocery stores, save money for things, and also, I'm terribly scared of the dark. I said it. Great. Now, this is a very embarrassing confession to make because apparently adults are not supposed to be scared of the dark. It's pretty childish. But here I am, and this fear is with me my whole life, and it doesn't go away no matter what I do. You guys cannot imagine how many times did I actually have to tell myself that night is the most romantic time and it's completely safe and cozy. There is nothing wrong about the darkness, and nobody hides in the dark corners of my bedroom waiting for me to fall asleep, and no one lurks in the corridors when I go to the bathroom in the dead of the night, and no one stares at me while I'm sleeping from the dark mirror that hangs on a wall in front of my bed. Ugh, I just can't trust the darkness. Anytime I find myself in a dark room, I immediately feel somebody's hostile presence. And I get panicky and I frantically search for the light switch because I just do not feel safe when the light is off. I sleep with the nightlight, of course. But when I'm home alone for the night, I do not allow myself to fall asleep at all. Like in a Freddy Krueger movie, I drink coffee, I listen to music, anything just to distract myself from the very thought of falling asleep. It's like the presence of another person protects me from something evil that lives in darkness. But if I fall asleep alone, it's like I'll be more vulnerable to this evil. So I shudder at the very thought of falling asleep unprotected. Like, how do I know nobody will be peeking at me from the closet? How do I know nobody lives under my bed? I'm not going to look down there and check. Mostly, we can't even be sure what's behind our backs. A dark corridor, in my case. So I just realized how it all sounds. And I promise you, I'm not a crazy person. I'm a completely sane and normal girl. I'm not even easily frightened or intimidated. I'm telling you, it's just something about the darkness, or in the darkness, that doesn't feel right to me. So I thought that maybe if I get a pet, that would make my fears go away. That's not the only reason why I got Juan. I just love animals and he smells like a cheese toast, which is a bonus. But I was still hoping a little that this adorable alien guy will make my fears go away. And, well, I never feel alone when he's near me. Because sometimes he does the strangest things and acts like he sees something that I don't see and is frightened by this presence. And I'm serious, I need you guys to tell me if your pets do the same. Sometimes he would freeze and stare at nothing. Like at the walls, or at the window, or just at the empty space of the room. Like he sees something. And several times he woke me up in the middle of the night, barking and growling at the mirror in front of my bed. And he never barks. I promise you, he's the quietest, most gentle and polite dog in the universe, probably. And I couldn't calm him down for like an hour. And when such things happen, I immediately remember all those creepy stories about how animals allegedly can see something that humans cannot see. And I freak out. And I mean, of course I'm happy that he's a part of my family. I'm very fond of him. But at such moments, I kind of wish I had no pets. So I've been thinking a lot about what started my weird phobia. Why am I so strange? And recently I remembered that one little story that happened to me when I was a little girl. And I have to warn you, the story is kind of dramatic, but it felt that way, and I'm going to tell you exactly how it happened. I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I stayed at my aunt's apartment for the night, but I was home alone because my aunt left for like an hour. So to entertain myself, I turned on the TV and stumbled across the episode of X-Files. Now, if you don't know what X-Files is, it's a TV show about two special agents, Mulder and Scully, and they investigate weird and paranormal cases like strange murders and mysterious kidnappings and government conspiracies, and they have to deal with all sorts of horrible beings like serial killers, maniacs, cannibals, zombies, aliens. And the episode that I was watching was actually about a horrible monster parasite, an ugly humanoid thing that lived in canalization, attacked people underwater, infected their bodies with worms, and that would eventually kill those people. I know what you're thinking. It's the best TV show that a 5-year-old could watch before going to bed. I know, I thought so too. I immediately got very excited and prepared to be pleasantly spooked. So I still have some pictures in my head from what I've seen. All of it was pretty graphic. None of it was appropriate for kids, but I didn't care at all. I was so invested in the story. But as I was watching Agent Scully doing autopsy, it suddenly hit me. Hey, I'm home alone. There is nobody there to protect me if something bad happens. And this thought actually made me really scared. I knew that all I had to do was turn off the TV and do something else, but as I said, I was so invested in the story that I couldn't bring myself to do it. I couldn't tear my eyes away from the screen. And then a horrible thing happened. For the first time, they showed a face of the monster parasite. I quickly shut my eyes and even covered them with my hands because I was so not ready for what I saw. But that horrible picture of that white face and mouth wide open and yellow eyes staring right at me didn't want to leave my imagination. And when I finally opened my eyes, the damn face was still there in a screen because it was a long take or something. At that point, I was almost shaking with fear. And as I was sitting there, transfixed, looking into the monster's eyes like a prey looks at a predator, another horrible thing happened. The lights went off. It became as dark as it can possibly be in a city apartment. You know, like when it's dark, but you can still see something like, oh, there's a table, and there's a couch, and there's a window, and there's a door. No, I couldn't see anything. The room went pitch black. First came the fear, like the absolute paralyzing, sickening dread. Imagine I was a 5-year-old girl sitting alone in a dark room in front of a TV from which 5 seconds ago a nightmarish, freaking ugly monster was looking right at me, and I was still seeing its face in my head. And then came the realization. Oh my god, a monster saw me and now it's coming for me. It turned off the lights in the apartment because it probably likes to kill people in the dark. I'm all alone, there's nobody there to fight the monster off, so I'm doomed. So at that moment, I literally prepared to die. Remember how I warned you it was a dramatic story? You guys, I remember those emotions vividly. And I don't know, but I truly think that at that point, I really felt what people usually feel when they face mortal danger. Of course, I don't know, I can't say for sure, but I've never experienced anything like that ever since. I was so terrified, but also I was so desperate. Like, I was 100% sure that a monster is coming for me and is going to kill me. And there is no way that I could avoid my destiny, so I just fatalistically accepted the fact that my short life is about to be over. So I stood from my chair, clumsily in the dark, found a way to the bedroom, crawled into bed, hugged myself, and started waiting for death. Every minute of waiting was more and more difficult. I remember I was very tense and full of that horrible anticipation, and my heart was pounding in my chest and it was hard to breathe. And at one point, I even started calling for that monster and begging it to hurry because I couldn't take this waiting any longer. And I think I spent a good 15 minutes in that dark room waiting for death and calling for it until my aunt finally came home, which is the end of my dramatic story. And funny, I don't remember what happened. I don't remember how she came home. I don't remember what I felt because I probably was super happy that my life is saved. I have no memory of that. Probably my aunt kept saying that she was sorry that she left me and, oh, poor kid, you must be so frightened and where's the dim light? I have no memory of that. The last thing that I remember from that evening is lying in the dark and praying for death. Dramatic story. That probably traumatized me for years, apparently, because now I can't stand being in the dark room for more than 5 seconds. It's like maybe a part of me still thinks that the story is not over. Maybe somewhere deep down, I believe that the thing that I was calling for in the dark actually came. And now it's just waiting for the right moment to attack. You know, I guess it's true what people say that video making has a therapeutic effect. I honestly feel better now. Well, I feel a little embarrassed because to think that all these years I've been scared of Monster from X-Files, this is just hilarious. But guess what? I don't care. Because now that I've talked about my fear, and now that I've laughed at it, I feel like I'm finally able to confront it. Monster from the dark, come get me. I feel nothing. Honestly, I feel... That's probably my husband, although I was sure he was still at work. Ethan? Don't make a noise, I'm recording a video. Anyway, I feel like I'm able to give you some advice. If you have a fear or a phobia, maybe you have to talk about it, laugh at it, and then you'll be able to confront it and to fight this fear. Actually, you know what I'm going to do right now? I feel like turning off the lights in the apartment and just get used to this new feeling. Getting used to this new feeling of being brave and fearless. Okay, I'm going to check on those sounds now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Believe in yourself, believe in your success, stay positive all the time, and then everything will be great.